Welcome to News Junkies. I'm Bill DeFoi. Joining me is Kristie Akin. Kristie is a freelance reporter for some of the local papers in Ventura County, and we're going to be talking about the top issues of the day. And one of those issues, Kristie, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
One of the big issues, of course, is the riots in Baltimore. Big story. What are your thoughts?
First, my first thought is my heart goes out to Mr. Gray's mom and siblings for what they're going through. The second thing I think about is the two underlying issues of what is happening. So there is the initial case of what happened, and then there is the chain reaction of what is happening. So they're two separate issues. Police brutality and abuse of power is a major issue, and then the rioting is an issue. So if we can seek to get to the origin of the issues, like in any situation when something terrible happens, we have to find the root of the problem and then a resolvement for the problem.
I perhaps see it somewhat in the inverse. You have the rioting that takes place as a result of what happened.
Right.
Then you have the complaint that you got the rioters. How do the police respond? And so then it becomes an escalated issue.
Right, right.
And so how can people deal with this effectively when there is something that happens that we don't get into this situation every time where people decide to go out and loot, pillage, and, have a riot?
Right. Well, I mean, I think in every case of when there is a national issue of police brutality or abuse of power, you don't always see riots that follow, but the same situations that are happening, the abuse of power and police brutality, are happening in similar, you can look at the trends in where they're happening and the saturation of demographics in where they're happening. So I think what we need to do is look at who's in charge and what is happening and how are those people getting in the positions of power. Like any other community service, many people have to be elected into community service. And so I believe that one solution might be we need to elect our police enforcement, our law enforcement need to all be elected, or in order for a policeman to become part of the force, they need a percentage of their community support in order to make that position happen. That forces them to get out in their community and meet the people who they will be serving and protecting, and vice versa, a chance for everybody to be on the same page.
Well, we have something like that somewhat in Los Angeles with the police commission, because they're the ones that will select the police chief.
Right.
So they go through a screening process, and then they're limited to, I believe it's 2 5-year terms.
Right. I agree with having some diplomacy in electing those people, but I think it should continue further down the line. If we are seeing the issue in the policemen who are walking, or policemen and women who are walking around, then if that's where the issue is, then that's where the issue needs to be resolved. So,
see, I'm a big proponent of police cams, because it's going to get to the heart of the issue.
Right.
And I believe that as more and more of these videos come out, it is going to show people that the majority of the police, not everyone, but the majority of them are going to be acting responsibly. There was a case not too long ago in a city where there was a man armed, literally armed, with a dagger going after a police officer, and the police officer talked him down. Didn't shoot. And the guy was begging him, shoot me, shoot me. And it could have been death by cop. So like I said, I'm a big proponent of the police cams, dashboard cams, so people can get a better perspective and to get to the underlying truth of the matter.
I agree. Yeah. What we're seeing is the few cases. Of course, like any situation brought to light, it's not how it is in every situation, but unfortunately, whenever one issue comes up, then it rains on the entire situation of issues. So the rioting, police cams is great. People recording this information is great. It's going to happen either way. But whether it's being caught on tape or not, it's still an issue. So in coordination with the riots and the police cams, what needs to happen is some buddy, a community member, leaders of some kind. From my understanding, it began as a peaceful protest. Am I right?
I'm pretty sure that
There
it
was
did.
congressmen, Congress officials there, state officials there. It began as a peaceful rally, and from my understanding, it was a group of youth protesters who began throwing rocks and bricks and who started it. So when it comes to the rioting, then the issue is, why do these kids think it's okay? Where are these kids getting their information, and who are they surrounded with, and what programs do they have after school? What education are they getting in school? Or what's going on, why they think it's okay? And not only why they think it's okay, but someone needs to teach in communities about responsible leadership. I believe fully in protesting and in peace rallying, but I'm a peace advocate. And unfortunately, when things get violent, you lose all power. They lose all credibility. What they are standing for, they are completely justified in what they're standing for. If you believe in something, absolutely stand up for your rights. But someone needs to teach kids, and this growing generation of kids is very different than the previous generations. They have a fire, and they want to move mountains and change things and make changes, but we don't have Martin Luther King, we don't have Gandhi, we don't have Mother Teresa, and nobody is guiding the popularity of peace and unity. So we have a situation of a lot of kids who want to make changes and who want things to be the way they know they should be, but they don't know how to do it. And unfortunately, because violence is so popular in media and in games and in music and movies, that seems to be the natural go-to. So what I think we need is community leaders to take kids under their wings and teach them how to accomplish these goals without becoming the problem.
We've only got a couple of minutes left, so let's draw this to a conclusion. There's two observations. Number one, there was a mother that recognized her son as part of the rioting,
Right.
and really kind of boxed his ears.
Yeah.
So I think some parental guidance is needed,
Yes.
because our society
She's
today,
a single mom.
and a single mom to
On top of
boot,
that.
exactly. And the other point is that we need to take responsibility and for our actions. But the other point too is a lot of these organizers bring in outside people from other communities to do the protesting. And so I don't see the advantage of all the protesting, because they're only going to raise up the taxes and price of commodities and goods and services, because people have to pay for that to get it back to where it was before.
Right. The people who are hurting in this situation, obviously Mr. Gray's mom and family, and the business owners whose their livelihood is now compromised. Everyone in the area who is there geographically, less because they chose to be there, but because that's their community, that's where they live. I mean, the world will never be the same for many of these people. But
Okay, we're just simply out of time, and I wish we had more time to deal with this issue as well as others, but we're going to have you back and we'll talk some more. All right,
good.
I'm Bill
Thank
DeFoi.
you.
You're watching News Junkies here on Heritage Media Group.